Welcome back to my channel. My name is Blair if you're new here. Today I'm actually going to share with you some books that I've read. Every year I set a goal of at least 8 books that I like to read throughout the year. I don't want to say one a month because like when Christmas and Thanksgiving come, things get hectic and I don't have as much time to sit down and read, but I do try to read at least 8 books throughout the year. I also do this in an alternating like fiction, nonfiction book, and my nonfiction books tend to lean towards Christian reading books. So I'm going to share the first 4 because I finished those, and then later in the year when I finish the other 4, I'll do the rest. So to start, the first book I read, I just picked up on a whim at Target. It's called Love Unscripted, and just to read to you the description. It says, Ellie had the quizzical eyebrows of the broadcast news era Holly Hunter and the neon red hair of Kate Winslet in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. At least that's what caught Nick's attention when he met her on the night of 2008's historical presidential election. A cinema buff and devotee of great love stories, Nick always fancied himself the Tom Hanks of his own romantic comedy. And when sparks flew with Ellie that night, he swiftly cast her as the Meg Ryan of his story. For 4 blissful years, Nick loved Ellie just as he loved his job as a film projectionist, wholly, earnestly, and cinematically. But now Ellie has moved out, convinced that the fire's gone, and Nick is forced to sift through his memories to figure out where it all went wrong. That night was a perfect meet cute, yes, but was the romance ever as destined for a happily ever after as he thought? Was he really the rom-com hero he believes he'd been? Or did this Harry let his Sally down? Peppered with references to beloved movies, Love Unscripted explores how even a hopeless romantic can learn that in real life, love isn't and shouldn't be like what we see on the screen. So I will say this book is cute. It's kind of in a way depressing a little bit because it's more of him analyzing like his breakup throughout the whole story. And when I bought it, it was saying that it was a great book for movie buffs. And as a movie buff, I like to think I am anyway, because it's based out of England and not the US, a lot of the movie references were not necessarily movies I had seen or even heard of. So interesting, but I got it at Target, and of course I will put the name and author of all these books in the description box, so if you want to check it out, you can. I do apologize if you can hear the dishwasher, it is running. So then the second book I moved on to, which I think I've mentioned in another video, was Live by Sadie Robertson Huff. This was my nonfiction book. It's kind of a collective thing of stories that she's gone through. But she has a great way of telling even Bible stories in a more modern way so you understand it. I will say this book was a little more kind of for somebody that maybe is looking for Christianity, Jesus, you know. For me, it had great insight and I enjoyed reading it, but it didn't speak to me as much as I guess I was hoping. But just to read through the description here, it says Sadie Robertson, best-selling author and star of Duck Dynasty and Dancing with the Stars, has searched for what it takes to create a fulfilling life and wants to lead you on that journey. Join Sadie as she tackles your biggest questions about life in fun and practical ways so you can learn what it means to truly live. Through inspirational stories and photography, Sadie embraces the adventures of life and walks side by side with readers on the following topics: how to replace temporary highs with the promises of God, how to dream big and follow your passion, how to celebrate every moment of your life, how to live in the moment, and how to keep going until your story gets good. So definitely a good book. It's a good read. Lots of pretty pictures in it, but definitely, I guess if you're already walking in a Christian faith, like it might be cute, but it's not going to speak to you as much, I don't think. At least for me, it didn't. But this was book number 2. So then my next book, which was a fiction book, is The Restaurant. I ordered this one off of Amazon. Let me tell you, I tend to gravitate towards books that either take place in restaurants or about food. Same thing with movies. I don't know why, but I just love them. So this book was really good. Just to read to you the description, it says, Mandy, Emma, and Jill are as close as three sisters who live hundreds of miles apart can be. They grew up together on Nantucket, but Mandy is the only one that stayed. Jill lives a glamorous life in Manhattan as a co-owner of a successful executive search firm. Never married, she is in her mid-30s and lives in a stunning corner condo with breathtaking views of the city and Hudson River. Everyone thinks there's something going on with her partner, Billy, because he's a workaholic. She spends more time with him than anyone else, but there's never been anything but friendship between them, and Billy loves being a bachelor in New York City. Emma lives in Arizona and is an elementary school teacher and an aspiring photographer. She met her college professor husband, Peter, in grad school, and they've been married for over 15 years. In recent years, she noticed that Peter has grown distance, but when he shares a surprising secret, she doesn't see it coming, and her world is turned upside down. Mandy followed her high school boyfriend, Corey, to Boston College, and right after graduation, they married and settled in Dover, just outside of Boston. Corey joined a successful hedge fund while Mandy took a job at a downtown financial services firm as an administrative assistant. She quit a year later when Blake, the first baby, came. 2 years later when Brooke was born, Corey left to open a competing hedge fund and they moved home to Nantucket. Now that the children are older, Mandy has more free time and is eager to do more than just volunteer with local charities. But Corey doesn't want her to work. He thinks it doesn't reflect well on him, and appearances are everything to Corey. Though when Mandy finds a second cell phone in his gym bag, she begins to question what is really going on. When their beloved grandmother, Rose Ferguson, passes peacefully in her sleep a week before her 99th birthday, she leaves them quite a surprise. In addition to her Nantucket home, they learn that she was a silent owner of Mimi's Place, one of Nantucket's most popular year-round restaurants. There is, of course, a catch. She left the restaurant equally to Mandy, Emma, and Jill, and also to Paul, the chef for the past 12 years. And before they can sell, all three girls need to work at the restaurant for a period of 1 year, or else their shares will go to Paul, who was also Emma's first love. Three sisters inherit a Nantucket restaurant and must work together for a year or lose their shares to the chef. Paul was Emma's first love, and now he's their business partner. So it's got its romantic twists. It definitely, speaks to the restaurant and trying to revitalize the restaurant. But I love to read through the interaction of the sisters and them getting closer. So definitely a great read if you love books that are about restaurants and have a tint of romance in them. Now the last book that I just finished actually yesterday is Present Over Perfect. I don't know if there's actually a description. Oh, okay. So the description for this one, a few years ago, I found myself exhausted and isolated, my soul and body sick. I was tired of being tired, burned out on busy, and it seemed almost everyone I talked with was in the same boat, longing for connection, meaning, depth, but settling for busy. I am a wife, mother, daughter, sister, friend, neighbor, writer, and I know all too well that settling feeling. But over the course of the last few years, I've learned a new way to live, marked by grace, love, rest, and play, and it's changing everything. Present Over Perfect is an invitation to this journey that has changed my life. I'll walk this path with you, a path from frantic, pushing, and proving toward your essential self, the one you were created to be before you began proving and earning your worth. So this one, I will say, is a great book. I like Christian books that tell their story without speaking at you. I don't know why, but when people, certain like self-help books that I've attempted to read over the years, when they are like speaking at you rather than giving you insight, I feel like they can be kind of a turnoff in a way for me. So this book was great. She just kind of talks through the journey that she went through with it and how she changed her life. But I will say, like, each chapter kind of had you wanting to think about it. So I did enjoy the fact that, like, I could read a couple chapters at night before bed and then just kind of marinate in what I read for a couple days before I went on to the next one. So that was the fourth book that I've gotten through this year. So again, I still have about 4 more to read, and I will share those later on. but I just thought I'd share them now because we're coming into summer and some people really enjoy to read in the summer, beaches, boat trips, you know, vacations, that kind of thing. So again, I will leave the titles and the authors of all these books in the description box for you, but I hope you enjoyed getting to see a little glimpse of what I've been reading, and I hope everybody has a blessed day.